I just recently got back all 6 of my children after losing custody for about 5 years. I stay pretty busy as a single mom with 6. I work at Chick-fil-A, and I am currently in school to get my social work degree. I want to go back and help addicts. I met my oldest kid's dad when I was 14. He met me with a liquor bottle and a bag full of Xanax. And he gave me those. Obviously, I kind of loosened right up and was party free and loving it. I wasn't dealing with anxiety. I wasn't dealing with not feeling cool enough. All that just seemed to kind of fade away. And instantly I loved it. And I just kind of continued that for many years after, just adding a few things here and there as time went on. I think it just felt so good to be around people who thought that I was cool. They were all a little bit older, and to just fit in and to not worry anymore, just not really care. It all just kind of faded away, and I just became braver and braver with things that I would do. Got introduced to selling drugs and just kind of hustling. Never really had a job. This is actually my longest I've ever had a job in my entire life, and I've been there just barely over a year. I would try to do good, try to stay sober. I had my kids, I was working, but it seemed like I just couldn't stay sober for very long. So, I'd get an apartment, would be doing okay, and then before I knew it, I'd lose the apartment because I never really learned how to be a productive adult. I never really learned how to be responsible. So when it came to bills and just all of that sort of thing, it was a lot harder than it looked for me. I got a knock on my door from DCF, and obviously I wanted nothing to do with them. I was not very cooperative. They had me do a drug screen, which I could not pass, pregnant, with 4 kids in my home. And they gave me the option to do an in-home parenting plan, and I violated that in-home safety plan. That's where things started to really downhill spiral. They removed my children for violating the safety plan. So I am pregnant, I just lost custody of my 4 children, and then I was arrested, went to jail, bonded out, and I was put on one of those little ankle monitors on bond for about a year. And in that time, I just used the whole time, and then I ended up pregnant with my 6th child while on bond, and I had no real plan where this baby was going to go. I didn't even know if I would get my other kids back. My kids were placed with one of their dad's sisters with family, so I had a mentality, I guess, that we would do permanent guardianship and I would always be able to get the chance to come back and see them or something. It was just something that I was holding on to in my head that kept me from being at my bottom. But then I got a visit from a DCF caseworker who told me that my children had been removed from there and that her son had been arrested and that his charges heavily involved my daughter that was there. So in that moment, I think that was my wake-up call. I felt so hopeless. And so helpless, like I couldn't do anything for any of my kids. And my thought was, I've dragged my ass on my case this far, like there's no way I'm gonna be able to get them back. So they're gonna go to some stranger and I'll never see them again. So that was my wake up call. That was, that's what let me know that I needed help. So I finally got a hold of, somebody got a hold of me. It was the lady that my children were placed with. And that right there was my little ray of hope. That was my look into the future. She started asking me questions about myself, and I just started being really honest with her. First time I'd been honest in a very long time with anybody, but I didn't have anything else to lose. She started encouraging me to have this different kind of light come in, a fresh face that didn't know me, didn't know my mistakes, wasn't judging me from that. And was encouraging me and praying for me. She started writing letters to the judge. She started doing all these things for me and advocating for me, something I hadn't had this entire time. I had nobody advocating for me. I had nobody saying good things about me, period. I went to rehab. I got out. I got involved in a program, Helping Hands. I got out. I went immediately to detox and waited for a bed in Razoo. This lady is still, I say this lady, her name is Rebecca. She is still keeping in in contact with me. She's there for me. She's coming to visits, even at rehab. She's brought my kids to me to see me in detox. She started making everything that I was doing feeling like there was a purpose to it, like I was actually going to get somewhere with it. And it did start working. That encouragement, that hope, that little bit of something that I needed to hang on to, that I'm not completely screwed, like this isn't over. So from there, I just continued to do. I was hungry for it. I was hungry for the next right thing. If this has gotten me here, then what can the next right thing get me? I had DCF telling me I would never get my kids back. My case was open for 5 years. I had been on drugs since I was 14. And for the first time ever, I had hope again. Things were able to turn around. It's never too late. And if I was speaking to somebody who knows an addict and is looking for a way to help somebody, then I would tell them, don't enable. Let that rock bottom be their rock bottom, and don't give up on somebody. You cannot give up on somebody and be there for them without enabling them.